Today I get to show you something that's helpful for a lot of people in a lot of different growing situations. Anyone from a full-fledged farm all the way down to an apartment balcony can benefit from this. What I have here today is a rolling self-watering tomato planter from Bagel Garden. In a nutshell, what this is it is a planter that is big enough to support a tomato. It has a water reservoir on the bottom, so that way you fill that water reservoir up, the tomato soaks up the water from the bottom, and you don't have to water it nearly as often. It also has a trellis on the top of it that will support a full-size tomato. But before I get too far into detail about this, let's get this thing put together. I currently have all the F-35s doing practice flights around my house, so if it gets a little bit loud, I will try to work around it. Bear with me. First, we need to see what comes in this box. What is everything that comes with this tomato planter? I haven't opened this yet, so this is going to be a surprise to both of us. We've got some assembly instructions that look like they are relatively simple, but we're going to find out how simple they are here in just a minute. Start your planting journey. Let's see, what do we have here? I don't know what is in this tube. Whoop. Be careful when you open this. You don't want whatever this is to fall out. I'll find out. Water gauge. This is a water gauge. You don't want this falling out. It looks like this might be either plastic or glass, one or the other. You don't want this thing to break, because this is going to tell you how much water you have in your reservoir. This is going to be our trellis parts. They come in a nice little box here. We have the inside planter that we put the actual soil and the tomato in. And then we have the outside planter, which is going to be the planter that looks real fancy, looks real nice, while this one here is doing all the work. All right, this is what we have so far. Let's go ahead and start looking at these instructions and see what this has us do. I think it's having us put the wheels on first, which I think are going to be in here. Here come those jets flying right over my house. America! As frustrating as it is to film when the jets are flying by, not very many people get to see those jets, so that's something that I'm grateful for. If you do this and you're looking for your wheels, they're going to be in the bottom of this tan little package right here. It doesn't matter which direction they go because they swivel. All right, wheels are working. Let's move on. So let's go ahead and get our water gauge put in here. And this is going to tell us how much water we have inside the planter. There we go. Make sure it's facing the right direction. Perfect. All right, and we go straight into the trellis. This is going to be a really easy setup, I can already tell, because all I have left is what is in here, which is going to be the trellis system. So let's go ahead and get this built, talk about how hard that is to build. Let me go ahead and show you this real quick. This, I don't know if you can see this, but I'm going to do my best. This is what these assembly instructions look like. A little bit of writing, a little bit of pictures, and so far, really easy to understand, but we're gonna find out how hard this trellis is to put together. 4 of these go straight into here. Oh, nice, I like that. So when you put these in, you can almost feel them slide past something and then lock right in, and these are not going anywhere. These aren't gonna be falling out once your plant starts to grow. And if you get a branch or something that's stuck in the crossbeam, it's not going to be pulling these out because these lock in nice and secure. There we go. Oh yeah. 4 of these little plus signs, little cross things here. Put that there, 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 and there. And then I think these are all the same. Nope, these are going to be the top ones. So these ones that have a bigger curve. Come over here and show you. These ones that have a bigger curve right here, these are going to be for your the top of the trellis. And then these ones with the smaller curve, these are going to be the outer perimeter of the trellis. So these curved ones, we put into here. Once again, these ones are locking in just as nicely as those bottom ones were. So, oh yeah, I'm happy with that. As I'm building this, I'll kind of talk to you about the stuff we've had going on here at the homestead. We've been planting fruit trees, which we have a video coming out about soon. We've done 2 apple trees. We moved the peach tree. If you watch that video, we moved the peach tree, and it is actually blooming now, and it is doing really good after that transplant. I'm actually pretty surprised at how good that peach tree did after that transplant. We have a pineapple pear tree that we planted, as well as a 4-in-1 cherry. I don't know if you've noticed, but the big dead tree we had at the back of the garden, it was actually shading the garden out quite a bit. And we have now cut that tree out. If you want to see any of that, I have tons of B-roll footage of that whole entire process of getting these trees cut. We did this. It took us an entire day, but we hired a crew to come do it. And it's honestly given us about 2 or 3 extra hours of sun here in the garden, which I am not gonna complain about. All right, so this is level 2, and there's 3 levels to this trellis. So let me come back as soon as I have this completely put together. We have this thing completely built. I honestly stopped looking at the instructions about halfway through because it just kind of tells you how to build each tier. And then the top is pretty much self-explanatory. As you build up, you've got the 3 layers, and on the top you just have a different style of cross section, and then you have a different style of little pieces of pole here that all just kind of fit right in. It is very easy to put together. If I wasn't filming this, I would have had this put together in 10 minutes. All right, but how does this work? Well, we've got the main bucket here that our plant is actually going to be sitting in. And then we have our big bucket down below that the water is going to be sitting in. And what we do is we have our tomato planted here. We have this little reservoir here, and we can fill our water from right here. As our water goes up, we're going to see this in the indicator. As soon as you hit full, you stop watering it. And then we have this little lever below, and this is going to control the water that your tomato is able to uptake. So maybe with this, start off right in the middle. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start off right in the middle. I'm going to see how much water my tomato is able to uptake. And then if I need to adjust, I can either adjust to more water or less water with this. Now, if you look at the bottom of this, there's these little cups, and that's where the soil is actually going to be uptaking that moisture and moving it up the rest of the soil. Something else that's really cool is it's got these little windows here, and this is going to be oxygenating, I can't say that word right now. It's going to be giving your roots oxygen as it grows. And for me, that's something that's really cool because I love growing in grow bags, but my problem is they dry out way too fast in my climate. But I really love how grow bags give your plants oxygen, your roots oxygen. So this is going to be doing something similar to that. I don't know if it's going to be on the same level, but it does have some form of giving your plant roots that oxygen, which is really good. And then obviously just having the wheels on the bottom of this, being able to move it from place to place, that's going to be extremely helpful, especially for me, because I don't know exactly where I'm going to be able to put it out front. I might have to move it around a little bit to make sure it's getting the correct amount of sunlight depending on where the shade's coming from. And another thing to think about is you don't have to be limited by growing tomatoes in this. Even though this is a tomato planter, you don't necessarily have to grow tomatoes. This would be perfect for pepper plants. If you've been around my channel for a while, you know that I love growing peppers. This would be perfect for a pepper plant. This would grow a very big, very healthy pepper plant. So if you're into growing peppers, that's something to think about. Really, anything that is vining and that needs that support, you can grow in here. So you could do some squash plants, you could do all sorts of different things. The possibilities are kind of limitless with this. Just make sure that it's something that either needs support or something that is vining, maybe some beans, something like that. You don't have to be limited to tomatoes. But who is this actually for? Who's going to want to buy one of these tomato planters? Well, first off, somebody like me who leaves town a lot. I go on a lot of camping trips, I go on a lot of outings, and in the past I've kind of struggled with container gardening because I will water it when I leave for my trip, and by the time I get back it is bone dry. Something like this is going to help a lot with that because I can completely fill this water reservoir and it'll just keep watering itself while I'm gone. When I get back, obviously I'm going to have to refill it with some water, but it's going to give me some of that leeway so I can go on a 4 or 5 day trip instead of a 2 or 3 day trip. Now, the second person this is going to be for is somebody in an apartment like I was. For quite a while, I was gardening inside of my apartment, whether it be on the balcony or inside of a closet with some grow lights in my apartment. This is going to work perfect for especially somebody that has a balcony and that is the only place they have to grow. You can grow a full-size tomato in this that has plenty of room to vine, plenty of support. You don't have to worry about the supports ripping up out of the soil. You will just be able to water this, fertilize this, and you will be ready to go. Or this can just be a great sleek looking addition to your normal garden. For us, this is going to be going in our front yard garden. I'm going to be growing a German giant tomato. I already have it planted and started indoors, and I'm just waiting until we are frost free so that way I can put it out front. And if you're interested in seeing how that tomato is growing here, just make sure you subscribe to our channel. We're going to be posting plenty of videos talking about it and giving updates on it throughout the season. I would have waited to get this video out until I was able to actually plant this and put it outside and show you how I do that. But a lot of you are in climates that if you're interested in buying one of these, you should probably buy that now so that way you can have it ready for the time your tomatoes ready to go outside. If I would have waited for this video, it would have been too late for you to do that by the time you saw it. And with that being said, if you're interested in buying one of these, I will have a link down in the description below, so go check that out. And stick around because I have a lot of gardening videos coming up.